What's going on, guys? Asian Guy here, very excited to bring you this video. In today's video, we are going to have the pleasure of discussing not only the One Piece Treasure Cruise new units, the Sugo Fest, the Stampede event on the game, on the Japanese server of One Piece Treasure Cruise, but also the One Piece Stampede movie itself. Now hold up, I know you guys are saying to yourselves, Asian Guy, how on earth have you, how on earth have I, this scrawny little Asian man right here, actually seen One Piece Stampede already, despite being in the UK? Not only that, the UK doesn't even have a release date yet, even though Germany, France, I believe Spain also has it, America and Australia, most of Europe has already had the release date for One Piece Stampede. The major countries at the least, the biggest countries at the least. And the UK doesn't have it, but, ladies and gentlemen, I had disappeared for a while, and I'm sure you guys know this already, but I did have, around the time One Piece Stampede was released, I did disappear off YouTube, and there is a reason for that, and I can finally reveal the information to that right here, right now. And I had the absolute joy, delight, honor, and pleasure of watching the film in Tokyo, Shibuya, Japan, courtesy of the One Piece staff who did a content creators event and flew a bunch of us out there to go and watch One Piece Stampede. I cannot believe it. Can you see the biggest grin on my face right now? Because it was such a joy. It was superb. The movie, if you are a One Piece fan, is a must watch. It is by far my favorite movie from One Piece of all time. It absolutely blows Zed out of the water. Zed was my previous favorite, followed by Strong World. But if I gave those two like an 8 out of 10, One Piece Stampede from a One Piece fan's perspective, a solid 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. Superb, superb, superb. Now, having said that, guys, I'm sorry I have deceived you. I didn't really fly out to Japan. I didn't have an all-expensive 5-star trip to Japan at all. No, I didn't. I just watched One Piece Stampede through very legal means, courtesy of someone either in Taiwan, Hong Kong, or China who recorded the film in a cinema and then bootlegged it onto the internet. It was in Chinese subtitles, Japanese audio, so I was able to watch it regardless, but still, obviously I'm not proud of what I've done. I have dabbled in piracy many times from a young age, 2002 quality camera, and I gotta say, I still thought the movie was a 10 out of 10. I will not go into any major spoilers into the film. All the minor spoilers that you've probably already seen already with all the One Piece Stampede Treasure Cruise units coming out, I will talk about in this video as well. And if I do unintentionally, or if I do somewhat try and stray into the One Piece Stampede content, the actual movie content, I will give like a very, very clear 5-second countdown, a very slow 5-second announcement and countdown that I will be doing so you can click off the video, you can mute me, or do whatever you want to me, as long as it's not very terrible to me. And you can do whatever you want and make sure you don't get spoiled in that regard. But having said that, I'm gonna tell you right now, sorry for trolling you. I didn't really go to Japan. I wish I did, but I didn't. One Piece Stampede Treasure Cruise units have hit. If you do not want to even be spoiled by character designs and you're like that level of do not spoil me, do not play One Piece Treasure Cruise Japan for like until it comes out into wherever you're living. Until the Western subtitle release is out, don't open One Piece Treasure Cruise, because there's no way you're going to be able to avoid it. My video is probably too late in warning you already, but it is what it is. Let's talk about both the movie and also the new units. I'll go over the units very briefly, and I'll talk about the good things about the movie without spoiling the movie, and then I'll go into some minor spoilers within the movie as well as to what you guys can expect and not expect, so as you have some realistic expectations as well. So, let's begin. Luffy's captain ability. I've got to say, pretty damn broken, pretty interesting captain ability. If Luffy is your captain, boost attack of side deck strength units by 4 times, 4.5 times for himself. Reduce damage taken by 20%. This will tie into a special later on. He doesn't have a HP boost, but he has a very fat damage reduction boost there. Side deck strength units will treat side deck strength orbs as beneficial. That's already 3 out of 7 orbs counting as beneficial. And the color orbs as well, tandem and meat orbs are made beneficial very, very frequently by a lot of different units, so don't worry too much about that. The crew will also have 10-turn resistance to despair and paralysis. Now, I don't know, because I'm the one that translated this as well, I actually don't know if this works in the sense that it's going to be a built-in 10-turn resistance to despair and paralysis, which is fixed. So every time you get hit with paralysis and despair, no matter how many times in a quest or an adventure you get hit by it, if he removes that, I'm not 100% certain. It might only be once per adventure, but I actually think this is going to be a permanent thing, as in like it's a permanent kind of socket activation, just like how Bind and Despair is reduced by sockets. Now 10 turns is a very significant amount. Many times you have stuff like 7 or 8 turn despair resistance or despair, and 10 turns is basically going to cover that. You have 13 turns or even 15 turns if you have Law on your team, because you can put Corazon on there as well. 15 turns of despair resistance is pretty nutty if you ask me, so that is pretty awesome. Luffy's special will deal 120 times attack and typeless damage to all enemies, boost his own attack, just himself, by 2.5 times, as well as orbs by 2.5 times for 2 turns as well. So it's kind of like Cavendish, Legend Cavendish, which is, you know, a lot of people don't like this so far. And then he will also have something similar to V2 Big Mom, boost his own attack by up to 1000 for 2 turns depending on remaining HP with 20,000 HP. Remember, he has damage reduction, so 20,000 HP shouldn't be too difficult to manage given 1000 bonus attack as a maximum. So if you do have at least 20,000 HP, you are going to be doing a crap ton of damage. Having said that, HP cuts will go completely past anything such as damage reduction, so do keep that in mind. A lot of stuff will HP cut you rather than doing fixed damage, or also fixed damage will completely ignore damage reduction as well. So a lot of people are already discrediting this Luffy as not a great legend. I have to say though, I do think top tier, flat 4 times attack boost is already instantly automatically top tier. Throw in beneficial orbs with that in the captain ability, with damage reduction, with that 10-turn resistance to paralysis and despair. I gotta say that is pretty damn busted. If you ask me, that is pretty damn busted. But that aside, let's look at Douglas Bullet. Now Douglas Bullet, there's going to be a bit of spoilers here. If you really don't want to see his final form, then click off the video now, because we are going to be looking at that right now. So Douglas Bullet, let's go ahead and look at him. This is 6+ Douglas Bullet. This is him covered fully in Haki, and also him using his awakened Haki form. So that's what it looks like. It looks like a very berserker version of Chopper, and yeah, kind of looks like Susanoo from Sasuke's, or Kakashi Susanoo, or Madara from Naruto Shippuden. It's also got that look to it as well. And let me tell you now, guys, do not expect anything 2D in the One Piece Treasure Cruise movie. I'm sure you've already seen it from the trailers already, but this robot form, and you can probably assume this is going to be CG, so computer generated imagery, or CG as they call it. So don't expect this to be appearing in the movie, because it doesn't look anything like that in One Piece Stampede. But having said that, character design here looks very nice. I do like what it looks like here, as well as what it looked like in the movie. The CG was very well done, so don't worry too much about worrying about CG. It's not going to be like Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. If you watched it, the CG in that made it look like it was a computer game, and I gotta say I was not a fan of the soundtrack while the CG was playing as well. So that's something to worth noting. That's something worth noting, not something to worth noting. We've also got a bunch of new Straw Hats here. We've got Zoro and Nami, as well as not Chopper, that's Usopp, and we've also got Frankie. Now most of these guys are basically for the Luffy unit. They are going to be side, dex, and strength units that will either have 2 turns of attack boost, 2 turns of orb boost, or they're going to be utility. Usopp is a delayer, depending on how many enemies you have, which means the challenge we're going to be getting, One Piece Stampede Challenge, most likely is going to have a stage with 6 enemies, because Usopp will delay for 6 turns if there are 6 enemies, 5 turns if there are 5 enemies, and so on and so forth. I believe he has a HP cut in there as well. Nami is a bunch of utility as expected. And yeah, Zoro, I believe, is the orb boost, and Frankie is the attack boost for the crew. And then you got Luffy, who will boost himself as well. So I'm guessing there's going to be some sort of barrier on the enemy where only the final perfect gets through. So I would not be too surprised if that's the case as well. We've also got Boa Hancock here by herself. We've got Law by himself as well. And I'll discuss in a moment as you guys can see, all of these raid boss units. If you haven't farmed them already, you've still got plenty of time to do so. They're very, very easy to farm. We have got Boa Hancock here as well, who I believe is going to be a raid unit. Or actually, no, she might be, if I'm not mistaken. She is going to be Kizna Kessen, or Bond Battle, if you want to call it in English, unit or reward from that. So she's probably not going to be too amazing. Beg your pardon. And she's probably going to have a very good, what's the word, support ability. So most likely for Luffy. And then we also have Sabo as well, and we also have this Sabo artwork, which a lot of people are speculating what it is. Now, I watched the movie, and literally 1 minute after I finished watching the movie, because I watched it in the middle of the night, it was like 3:58 a.m. All of this new information came out like straight after I finished the movie. I was like, oh, what a nice coincidence. And there were two names instantly, which I thought when I saw this Sabo. So originally I saw Toad tweet out saying, oh, there's going to be a new Sabo duel unit. And then I thought, oh my god, no freaking way. Is it actually going to happen? Then I saw this, and sorry to burst your bubbles, guys. I'm not going to spoil just yet. But this is not going to be a duel unit. I can promise you guys this probably is not going to be a duel unit, but rather some kind of special fan service artwork. Now, I'm going to tell you guys who the artwork is. So I'm going to give you a 10-second warning now with my hands. If you don't want to know who is going to be in this artwork, although it looks pretty damn obvious to me, here's a 10-second countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So, if this is going to be a duel unit, I will be highly surprised, and I will be delighted if this is a duel unit. But if it's not a duel unit, then I would not be surprised as well. So what this is going to be, in fact, because I think this is so important, if you are someone who likes to be taken by surprise, that sounds really wrong. That sounds really wrong. If you are someone that likes the surprise factor in a movie, oh, it's tough, because I would say click off the video, but the chances are you're going to see this in-game anyway before you see it released in Western cinemas, because in Western cinemas, it's going to come out in September, right? So, you know, what can you really do? What can you really do? You're going to see it anyway, but I have to say, if you really want the surprise factor, you're probably going to have to watch the bootleg version that I watched, and just for the final moment, because this artwork here is most likely the final scene, or one of the final scenes in the One Piece Stampede movie, and it is of either Sabo and Smoker or Sabo and Ace. Now, I'm guessing it's probably Sabo and Ace, and it's not going to be a dual unit. And the reason why I said Sabo and Smoker, again, very brief spoilers, minor spoilers, very predictable spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, is because in the movie, Sabo and Smoker do some, you know, like a few combination attacks, and that's about it. So Sabo and Smoker can be a dual unit, that could happen, but it's most likely going to be Sabo and Ace, and I won't tell you why it's going to be Sabo and Ace, but just that it is most likely going to be Sabo and Ace. And if you're watching the movie, now that you've heard that, you're going to know when that moment is going to come. So don't worry too much about it, but it's going to hit still very, very hard for you. When I saw it, I was very, very delighted to see it. It was a very nice gesture. That's the word. It was a nice gesture from Oda to the fans. So I'm very pleased with that. Now, let's talk about the movie, which is the part where I'm sure most of you have come to hear. This is going to be like a mini review of the movie, and also touching on, without going into spoiler territory of the movie. Expect minor spoilers. I'm not going to tell you what happens in the movie. I'm just going to tell you like the brief overview and outline of the movie, like what roles each character plays. Let's say if One Piece Stampede was the equivalent of the Avengers movies from Marvel, from the Marvel universe, where you've got the main cast and then you've got supporting characters, I'm basically going to discuss the movie in the format that way. So let's begin. Of course, main character is going to be Luffy. If you are a Zoro fan, you are going to love this movie. If you are a Zoro fan who thinks Zoro is as strong as Luffy, or he's on like Yonko level or Admiral level, then you're not going to be very happy to see this movie, because this movie will disprove all of that, and it will showcase that certain characters, I'm sure you've already seen in the trailer that Zoro goes up against Fujitora. I'm not going to spoil the conclusion of the fight, but you will be able to gauge from that Zoro is definitely not as strong as Luffy. I'm sure, hopefully, well, I'm hoping anyway, that None of my viewer base genuinely thinks that Zoro is strong enough to kill Kaido or something like that, because I've seen loads of theories going around that Zoro is going to take out Kaido. Maybe deal the finishing blow is a little bit of a stretch, because they literally have nothing to do with each other. I know there's like a spin-off story, nothing to do with One Piece, that Oda wrote before, like a one-shot, but still, I don't think it's going to happen. This movie is, I would say, canon, because there is some lore in here, there is some very important parts of the story in this movie, and I don't think you can say that Zoro is stronger than Luffy. So Luffy, of course, plot armor. He does get plot armor in the movie, no surprise there. Nami actually shines a lot in the movie. Nami, combat-wise, shines quite a lot. Surprisingly, you'll be watching her and thinking, damn, Nami's pretty damn strong. So there's that, and that Usopp actually plays a very big role in the movie. Very glad to see that Usopp is getting some love, even though he's one of my latter or my least favorite Straw Hats. Usopp does get a lot of love. Unfortunately, Chopper really doesn't get much screen time, so Chopper Legend, really not going to happen anytime soon. I mean, the Chopper Legend is right here. That's the closest we're ever going to get to a Chopper Legend. We got Brook as well. Brook plays a minor role. Frankie plays a very minor role. Robin plays a kind of important role, but at the same time a minor role. Sanji also around the same level of Robin. So the main cast from these guys, I would say, is actually these four. So Usopp, Nami, Luffy, beg your pardon, and Zoro. So Zoro and Luffy get a lot of screen time. Of course, Luffy gets a lot, but Zoro gets a lot as well. But he doesn't get it as acting as one of the main Avengers. So let's call them that, the Avengers crew, being like Thor, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow, and also the Archer dude. I always forget his name. Green Arrow, Hawkeye, one of those. So the Avengers equivalent, we've got Luffy, and then we got Sabo as the representative from the Revolutionaries. We've got Boa Hancock, who will be the representative from the Shichibukai. And then we also have Smoker, who is going to be the representative from the Marines. So those guys team up in fighting Douglas Bullet. And we also have Law as well. Law being the fan service character, because everyone loves Law. Whenever Law says room shambles, you know, I got a little bit excited. I don't know, I just realized I'm very, very purple here. It is what it is, but I got very excited whenever Law came out, because Law is my favorite character. So those five are the main characters of the movie. Boa Hancock, Sabo, Luffy, Smoker, and Trafalgar Law as well. There's a bunch of other characters that appear in the movie as well that is not available on this website right now. I'm not going to spoil who they are, but I'm sure you'll be very excited to see them appear in the movie. As was I. I was very happy to see them in the movie. And I believe Lucci is here as well. Lucci, honestly, when I saw this artwork and I saw he was going to be in the movie, I really expected a lot more from him. But he literally shows up for less than like 2 minutes. And he does very, very little. So I was very disappointed in that. That was my one negative, I would say. My one negative is that the trailer made it seem like a lot of characters would play a big role in the movie, and they end up just being really fan service and just being there for the sake of being there as fan service. So otherwise, outside of that, there's really not much else to it. And that is why the raid units, all of these guys that come as dual artworks rather than dual units, unfortunately, they do get a fair amount of screen time at the very beginning of the movie, but they all end up being fan service at the end of the day. So don't go into the movie expecting to see any of these characters shine and do a bunch of stuff. A lot of them are there for comedic relief or comedic relief. I don't know how you pronounce that word. In other words, they're there to be funny. So a lot of people are there for that reason. Buggy actually gets a lot of fun screen time, but other than that, the Supernovas, they don't really do much in the movie. In the grand scheme of the movie, they're really just there for the fun. The only Supernovas that get a lot of screen time, Law, Luffy, and Zoro. And then naturally, the ones that come alone, standalone units, not paired up with anyone. You've got Boa Hancock, and you've also got Trafalgar Law as well, because they all play a pivotal role in the movie. And then actually these dual units, none of them really make sense. So yeah, aside from Kid and Killer, none of these they're just all random pairings as well. So don't expect any sort of weird romantic ships or any sort of combination attacks. Don't go into the movie expecting that, because you will come out highly, highly, highly disappointed. But if you're just there for the fan service and you just want to see a bit of snippets on these characters and seeing what they can do, then you're going to absolutely love the movie. So I was very happy to see that. Sabo, very, very pleased he got a lot of screen time, or a fair amount of screen time. Smoker as well. I gotta say, even though he's a massive walking L throughout One Piece, in the movie, you guys will see. You guys will see. He's not necessarily a walking L, but he's neither a walking L nor a walking W either. So, yeah. There's a whole bunch of other characters within the movie, other than all of these guys in the game. The 2 Fortnite units don't actually do much in the movie. They're just there playing the role of announcer. Douglas Bullet, though, as a character, this again, I'll go into very minor spoilers. I'm going to talk about his ambition and what his role in the movie is, why he's doing all of this stuff and being evil, if you can call it evil, is so his story is that he escaped from Impel Down level 6. I don't think this is a spoiler anyway. I think this is already known knowledge. And he was also an ex-crewmate of Roger, and he was on the equivalent of Prime Rayleigh. So he is as strong as Rayleigh in his prime, but not as strong as Roger in his prime. So that's interesting to see, just thinking about Rayleigh and how Rayleigh is supposedly as strong as this beast right here. So, man, that means Rayleigh was a goddamn powerhouse back in the day. Now, Douglas Bullet, his ambition is, lo and behold, he wants to be the strongest in the world. He wants to be Pirate King. And he wants to do it all by himself, without any crewmates, without any nakama. He just wants to be Pirate King and the strongest. He's like Broly. So he's a very one-dimensional character. So don't expect any character development from him. I feel like they tried to force a little bit of emotion through him, and like flashing back to his past and some cutscenes to make him, so the audience will give him a little bit of pity, but that was not done too well in the movie. I feel like it was kind of forced and unnecessary. But other than that, fight scenes wise, absolutely beautiful, glorious stuff. Luffy in the movie, of course, does Luffy things. And you can expect that within the movie, and they're all fighting over something tied to One Piece. And when I say One Piece, I don't mean overarching series of One Piece, but the actual treasure, One Piece. So I won't spoil what that is, but that's what they're all fighting over. And, the reasoning behind the whole movie and the premise of the whole movie is kind of weak. But I've got to say, the fan service, this movie is just pure fan service, and it's great. I absolutely love it. And it's very interesting to see the power levels of everyone as well. If anyone's ever been curious about that, Boa Hancock is definitely not the strongest, not the strongest, but definitely not the weakest Shichibukai out there. From what I've gathered from the movie, she is goddamn strong. She is very, very strong. So that's nice to see. Boa getting some love. Sabo is probably a lot stronger than a lot of people give him credit for. I'd say Sabo is easily on Admiral level. That's very cool to see. Not Yonko level, but he is definitely Admiral level in terms of power. I'd say Zoro is... Zoro is, yeah... I'd say Zoro is like... who can I compare Zoro to? Perospero level. Probably around that. Zoro is like Perospero level, and the same as all the other supernovas as well. So they're like all cracker level. I wouldn't say they're all as strong as Katakuri. In fact, they're definitely strong as Katakuri, because Katakuri is stronger than Luffy, as we saw. And then, yeah, that is pretty interesting stuff. Douglas Bullet is definitely as strong as all of the Yonko. In this form anyway, he's definitely as strong as them. Mini spoiler here, but I'm sure you could tell just by looking at this. He does use awakened devil fruit powers. I don't think you can explain how else he does this form. So he does have an awakened devil fruit. So yeah, that is pretty much it. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. Hopefully that wasn't too many spoilers. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I really, really hope everyone does get to see One Piece Stampede. It was a superb movie. I absolutely loved it. Pleasure to watch it, even in really crappy quality and Chinese subtitles. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Hope it comes out to the UK. Big fingers crossed. And guys, thank you so much for watching the movie. Remember to hashtag Dunkabandai with a Bellissimo. And I'm sorry about the camera quality. I don't know why I'm so purple. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. And bye-bye. P.S. This is not a shadow. This is like a mini goatee beard, which I am going to shave because it looks terrible right now. And I will be getting rid of that. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. And bye-bye.